Alright, this video is actually going to cover a couple of different kidney tumors that you guys will be expected to know. In this first one, you can see that we have normal kidney here. This ink is actually the part that we mark in the pathology lab to tell us that that's actually a margin. So this is a little piece of kidney that was cut out for this little tiny tumor right here. And so when we go down and we take a look at this tumor on higher power, you will notice that the cells actually have rather clear cytoplasm. And so you can guess that this is actually a clear cell renal cell carcinoma. Clear cell renal cell carcinoma is the most common type of renal carcinoma that we have. Usually identified histologically because it has nice clear cytoplasm and these little round dark blue nuclei. This tumor is associated with von Hippel-Lindau syndrome and mutations of chromosome 3p, as you guys have read. So you always want to look for findings of syndromic patients, such as those retinal hemangioblastomas and cysts and other things that can occur in someone with von Hippel-Lindau syndrome. Now, most of these aren't associated with von Hippel-Lindau. They're sporadic, but that doesn't mean that we can't still look for the syndrome. So this is a nice example of a clear cell renal cell carcinoma. Another type of tumor that we see is one we would call a chromophobe renal cell carcinoma. And you'll see at low power that this tumor is actually quite pink compared to the last one. The cells don't have quite the amount of cytoplasmic clearing. And when we go down and we take a look at this one has some very characteristic features. One of the most notable ones is that around the nuclei there's a little halo. You can see it here, here, and here. This is not the same as cytoplasmic clearing that we'd see in a clear cell renal cell carcinoma. This is what we'd call perinuclear clearing or a perinuclear halo. Interestingly enough, too, you have binucleation seen here and here, and that's actually something that looks very similar to what we're going to talk about later when we talk about HPV infection in the cervix. These cells actually look remarkably similar to koilocytes that you will see in the cervix, which are a marker of HPV infection. Another histologic feature that's often helpful is that these cells have what we call plant cell wall type borders. And so you guys know from biology way back in high school that plants have cell walls instead of cell membranes, and it makes them look like they have very crisp borders. And you can see here that these cells all have very sharp, crisp pink borders. And so it almost looks like they're plant cell type as opposed to human cells, which wouldn't have a cell wall. And so this is a chromophobe renal cell carcinoma. These are actually okay. They don't have that bad of a prognosis. Most people that have these, you cut the tumor out and they do just fine. And that's in direct contrast to the clear cell renal cell carcinoma, which usually has a pretty bad prognosis because those guys like to metastasize throughout the body. So this was a short example of two different types of renal cell carcinomas, both clear cell and chromophobe renal cell carcinoma.